Boy.
Hi, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking kind of exclusively about the Ujukitsu lemonade tree. Now there's two different kinds of lemonade trees. I know that's available in Texas. One of them is the Ujukitsu, which is the one we have. There's another one that's called the New Zealand lemonade tree, and that's actually two different types of trees. They look different, so they're not the same. We moved this one out here when we moved from Beaumont in 2018, the spring after Harvey flooded, and I basically just cut it back, and then the roots were probably about this big around. I made a big area for the roots to make sure it would survive.
Under like what, 8.5 feet of water, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's probably a little deeper. Well, yeah, 8.5 because it was up by the raised bed. But so it went all the way underwater. It survived that, and came back out that next spring. So we going to sell that house, so we went and moved the tree out here and got it set up, and it's been making really well. This past year we got down to 15 degrees in the wintertime, and it still made a fair amount of fruit. And this is fruit that it makes, and if you want to come in and get a little closer, most of them are going to have that little neck on them. That don't have much of one. This one over here's got some. Now, I have been told that the bigger they are, the less flavor they have. Is that true, Kel?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you actually don't want to have really big fruit on them because those fruits aren't as tasty as the smaller ones are. So don't over fertilize it, I guess, when it's making a lot of fruit, but you do want to add more fertilizer than when it doesn't make fruit. Now, if it gets winter damaged, and the thing I like about this one, it's been a workhorse as far as we went through Snowmageddon. Got down to about 13, 14 degrees. We did have ice with it. I did put a generator back behind here and let it run, so it got a little bit of heat from that. And I did put that landscape fabric on there to kind of give a little bit of a cushion. And I think that helped somewhat. And it died back probably a foot or two on each one of the end of the limbs. Did not make any fruit the next year. Then we had Snowmageddon hit 2 years later, and it made good fruit that fall. Real good fruit. I mean, we probably had 300 or 400 fruits that came off this one tree itself, and we had those big totes. We had probably 5 or 6 of those totes full of fruit, because the day Snowmageddon hit is about the time these things ripen. They ripen in December, and we was out here picking the day before the cold smell, picking all the fruit out of them.
That was miserable.
Yeah, that wasn't a fun day.
No.
But again, that time what I did was take a bunch of and I've got it on video somewhere, I took all the leaves and stuff like that, piled it all the way up to about right here, because what I was trying to do is protect. There's a graft here, right here, and everything above this graft is Ujukitsu. Everything below that is trifoliate, the rootstock. So what you're trying to do is keep that, when you have a really cold spell, you're trying to keep that rootstock, or you're trying to keep that graft alive. And so really that hurt me as far as the top, but it still survived. Because normally when you do that, you stand a pretty big chance of losing the top of the tree. It's too big to be able to do anything else with, but it worked out pretty nice. Now, right now, if you don't live in Texas and you want to get one of these trees, Logees Online Nursery, it's Logees. It does have one of their little small ones. They're supposed to be 4-inch pots, about $50 a piece, plus shipping. And don't want to order them this time of year, because online companies like that tend to ship them out whenever you order them. And with 100-degree temperatures, they're not going to make it in the mail. And a lot of times they're not that great. I don't know personally about them, but other ones I've worked with, they're not that great about, they ship them to you, and if they die, they die. It's hard to get refunds and whatever from them. Not necessarily saying from them, but from other people that I've on forums and stuff. Those type of companies just tend to ship stuff out, and it's kind of up to you to be able to order at the time that you need to. But where I got it from was in Houston before they had, the regulations were that you could not ship fruit trees outside of the containment area in Houston. There's some counties around there that you're not supposed to buy fruit trees there and put to non-infected areas. It's to do with the citrus screening. So I did buy it before then, and that's where it came from, was the Brazos Nursery. Now they're the wholesale nursery, but anybody that carries our products, I do know the Natural Gardener out of Austin carries them. That's where you can get this fruit tree from, because that's one of the ones they sell. Most people I've seen really like it. Go ahead and describe the flavor.
It's a really sweet lemon. It almost tastes like lemonade. That's what I use a lot of it for, is I juice them and can lemonade concentrate, and I mix different flavors with whatever fruit we have a lot, like blueberry or blackberry with it. The watermelon wasn't a good idea. But it's also really makes a really good pie, and you don't have to add as much sugar because it's already so naturally sweet, unlike a Meyer lemon, where it's fairly tart.
Because I will say, a lot of times people say, "Is it like a Myers?" And no, because Myers is going to taste. It doesn't taste exactly like a lemon, but it's still got the sourness of a lemon. These don't have any sourness to it. And I'm not a big fan of the lemon flavor. That's why my wife's here to describe the flavor. But if you like the lemon flavor, it does have a good mild lemon flavor. It's not going to be overpowering or any of that stuff, but it is good for that. And like I say, it has been able to endure the frost, which is, I mean, we've got down to 12 degrees on the Christmas freeze, and it was able to handle it. Again, when they get damaged like that, they don't make that next year, but the year after that they do. Now, it might be going biennial with me. I don't know yet, because we seem like we get these cold freezes every other year. So maybe if it doesn't get really cold next year, I'll be finding out is it this group every other year, because I know this year, even when we got down to 15 degrees, there's more fruit on this side of the tree than there is on the north side of the tree. So with that, we're going to go up and we're going to look at, I did grow one in a container in case something ever happened to this. I wanted to have some grafts or whatever I could use to regraft it.
I wanted to also say that it makes really good for dehydrating slices and put into your water, because it's not so bitter. Your water has a nice sweet lemon flavor to it.
Okay, so let's go back and we'll go look up front.
See?
Okay, now this tree is one of them that I had made some root cuttings on, and they survived. I thought about making root cuttings and being able to sell them, but it's illegal to sell propagated citrus tree unless they're made from the Texas Department of Agriculture facility. So it's actually legal. From everything I can read, you can propagate your own, but you can't propagate and sell to the public. And this is one that's been in the pot for I think 3 years, if I remember right, maybe before. And right now it's getting eaten up by the leaf miners here when it looks like that. But when I put it in this bigger pot, it did really good. I think it had 7 fruits last year. This year it's got, I think, 4 on it. Didn't produce quite as many fruit this year for whatever reason. This is about a 35-gallon pot. It's one of the lick tubs that farmers use for the syrup. They make a nice sized pot that you can do it. Now I probably should trim this back somewhat, because if it gets really cold, if it gets down in the 20s, with this tree, since it's in a pot, it's more sensitive to cold temperatures. So I would have to take it, shove it in the garage or up against the house. If it gets down in the teens, I'll put it in the garage. If it gets down to probably the 20s, I'll just shove it up against the house on the south side, and that should be enough to protect it. Like I say, this is all the older growth here, and this is the new growth going out this spring. If you don't put them in a bigger pot, sorry, I'm going to have to walk around. This tree over here that was in a smaller pot earlier this year, I put it in a little bit bigger pot this year. This is the same, these are the same ages as that one over there. But since it's in a smaller pot, it hasn't grown as well and doesn't look quite as well. It didn't put any fruit this year. It did have some fruit on it last year, so where that's happening. But one place you can get, if you want to go with New Zealand, and I've never had one of those, the New Zealand lemonade tree, there is a citrus nursery that will ship. It's called U.S. Citrus Nursery in Hargill, Texas. And hope I'm saying that right. But I've dealt with them before. They do send good, they package their stuff really well. In fact, if you've seen the video last spring, I bought some citrus from them, and I'll probably have to walk you up over here. And I just potted these up in the bigger trees. But this is how big they already are. And like I say, they were the little small trees this tall this summer or this spring. So they will, they do grow good. I do like their citrus. That's the New Zealand lemonade tree. I've not had it. Some people say they like it better. The only problem I've seen some people, and I've just discovered this kind of day, is on the lemonade, the Ujukitsu, they're not sure what the parenting is behind it. So it could have some grapefruit in it. You just have to be careful on that. Well, what you're gonna want to do is get tested once you've done it for a little bit. Just don't eat too much. Don't eat a whole bunch of it if you're on medication, I guess, till you find out how it's gonna affect you. I don't, now some people will say that it's a cross between orange and a lemon, but I don't think that's correct. But anyway, I'm gonna put down links to 2 nurseries you can get them from, or I guess the 3 nurseries. You're better off if you can go to Brazos because they're gonna be cheaper. I mean, I know at the Natural Gardener, seemed like last year there was $45, $50 for a big tree. Where you're gonna pay, I mean, Logees, they were $49.99 for a 4-inch size tree. And again, if you're gonna do it after weather's broke. If you have to do something through the mail, because 100-degree temperature in a warehouse somewhere is not good for citrus. And again, I think these are really good trees. And if you want to eat them, like you eat them just like you would an orange. You peel them; they're a little bit difficult to peel. But once you get them peeled, you'll eat them sort of like a grapefruit in the fact that the skins themselves, the individual skins, are tough. So you peel those back, and then you eat the others. And
they have seeds, but not a whole lot. The seeds are really big, so it's not like you're not going to see them to choke on one or something or bite into it.
Yeah.
But the segments themselves are easy. Once you get that top part off, they're easy to peel.
Okay. One guy said he was using one of the orange peelers.
That's a good idea.
That you can do it. When I was reading today, and so that might be an idea too. But like I say, I see a lot of people and they're talking about Myers being a sweet lemon. It's still a lemon, and it's still not. You know, some people that really like sour stuff can eat it like they would an orange, but this stuff, even a kid, because when I took it to church, for some reason people don't trust me, and they would take it home and make their husband try it first, and no, it don't, and then they would try it, but. You know, it really doesn't have any sourness. I have eaten it before, and like I say, it has a lemon flavor to it, and it was none of the tartness, none of the bitterness. So if you like that, it's probably not a good idea. And like I say, the bigger the fruit, though, it does. Sometimes you get those big fruits, maybe more of a pithy.
Yeah, they get pithy is what it is.
So that's something that, you know, if you say, hey, I'm going to go try one, you try a really big one and you don't like it, well, try one of the smaller ones, and you may like it. I don't know quite exactly why they do that. And with any citrus, the first time you try it, they tend to get better with age on the tree. It's kind of like figs. Figs get better up with age, so will citrus. Because I've had some citrus I've tried before that was inedible. I ate some of the N9, probably the N33 navel orange one time with somebody, and they tasted really good. And I was saying, well, I had one that didn't taste good, and he said, well, ours tasted really bad last year's cubbies. Oh. And they said they tasted terrible last year, couldn't even eat them, but this year they're really sweet. So when citrus first starts, you know, it's why a lot of people say the first year fruit, you should take it off. And you do want to take off some of it because it does stunt the plants. But I always leave 1 or 2 on there just to see, knowing full well if I don't like it, well, it may get better. So don't judge it. If you try it 1 year and the first year that produces fruit, you don't like it, give it another year or 2 to see if that flavor improves. Like I say, to me, it makes a good, you know, just a good plant. You got more of the, you know, you have more of the frost protection. One of the hardest things to grow is a lime because they can't take any freeze protection. The second hardest is a Myers lemon, because you take a Myers lemon inside, it becomes very difficult to grow a Myers. It's one of the most difficult citrus to grow because every time you change the lights, every time you move it, it starts losing all its leaves. And inside is tough. If you can, and you're in Texas and you're in zone 8A, 8B, go ahead and try to put it in the garage for a couple of days and then bring it back out. Don't try to put it in your house because your house is a closed environment. It's going to be very dry, and it's going to suck all the moisture out of the citrus trees, and it's be hard to keep enough water on them. If you're going to put them in pots, always have well draining pots because the roots do rot pretty easy. So you don't want one that's got a whole lot of compost or a whole lot of peat moss in it. You want a lot of the perlite or some of the other stuff. I've kind of talked some about that, but like I say, that can be a problem. But anyway, before I talk too long, I think it's just a good idea. I think if you like lemons, it's a good thing to get. So see you next time.